It's spinning.
Spinning. We're
Tell us now,
live.
Kiwi, but we're live.
We're live.
Oh my God.
Has anybody hit Tavo's here already? Look
Now,
at
why do
that.
you look so much bigger than I do? All
I
of a
don't
sudden?
know.
Yeah, I mean,
It's all
you make me
all the
feel
good
like a
food my wife feeds me.
little kid. No, look at the size of you. Look at the size of me. I'm like,
You're
sit back,
shrinking.
come back a little bit.
You're shrinking, Tony. That's the
There
problem.
you go. It's this
You just
cheap
want me to
camera.
come closer.
No, please, you always do that, bro. Stop. All right.
It's too easy.
Tavo, what's happening, brother? Chris Freemesser, Greasy Garage, Tavo. We said Tavo already.
Yep.
John and Bill McKeiska,
Bollocks.
Stang Lincoln.
Yes.
Stang
Bollocks.
Lincoln. I've seen you in a while.
It's okay.
Unfinished project.
Jeff Hutchins. Hey, man.
Fubar.
Fubar.
Fubar's here. We're in
Hey,
good shape.
Fubar.
We're safe. Okay. Oh, that was a cough. All right.
Kiwi's cold. Yeah, a little bit.
Yes. Hey, Kiwi. And he goes, that's not a guest. That's Kiwi. This is his show, too. Every Wednesday night. Except for last Wednesday night. Where were you last night? You were doing interpretive dance for the government?
Yeah,
I heard
right.
they called you into this Middle Eastern thing. You had to calm things down. You want to show them the dance that you did?
No, I do not.
No? Okay, that's fine because it's top secret. You said nobody can see this thing.
You know, I was out of action last Wednesday.
But now you're back
I'm back.
and better than ever.
Well, yes, a little bit less than before, but you know.
All right, a little bit less better than before.
Just less.
Less. There's less of you now than there was then.
Yeah.
Entropy is a thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, from the minute we're born, we're
on the way to die.
We're on the way to die. Yeah. So
Yeah,
entropy is
Start the evening with a happy thought.
It is a happy thought. It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. We're all heading for the same dirt nap.
Well, yes. Yeah.
You know.
So what have I been missing, guys? I've been out for basically 2 weeks, one episode. So what's new? What's new in Uncle Tony's world?
Not a thing, man.
Not a thing?
I've been taking nips out of the Belvedere.
Yep.
I bought another Jeep. I told you about that.
Yep.
I bought until we'll get into that. I bought another XJ. I'm a sick person. I'm trying to get rid of stuff, and I'm buying more stuff.
Hey, thanks, Zero.
I need help. Zero, what's happening, brother?
You ever fish at any billabongs? No, I have not fished at a billabong, mate.
Oh, that sounds painful.
No.
I would not want to fish in my billabongs. I mean, it's just, the fishy billabong is an issue they have on the raft that he comes from.
That's an Australian thing, the billabong.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. What do we got? Hey, what's the difference from a Buick 350 to a Chevy 350? Quite a bit.
Yeah, everything.
Quite a bit. Yeah, the whole engine, everything.
Yeah, they both
Parts
have pistons.
do not interchange.
Nothing interchanges. Not even the transmission.
And honestly, it's not a bad motor, but it's not as good as the 350 Chevy. No.
Oh, let's stop and think about that for a second.
Yep.
There is not a single interchangeable bit between the Buick 350 and the Chevy 350, including the transmission.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Different belly housing.
Zero.
Yeah. Not a thing. But that was back in the day when the divisions were actually different divisions.
Yeah.
And they competed with each other, and they didn't necessarily always like each other.
Didn't know.
The Chevy would get very upset if the Buick came out with something that was quicker than their Corvette, which was meant to be the fastest GM in the fleet.
And then the 70s happened, and they started putting all-wheel motors in Pontiacs and Chevy motors and Buicks and Buick motors and everything.
Yeah.
Really, I think Buick won that because the Buick V6 ended up in
a lot of cars. Yeah, a lot of cars.
Let's see.
I spied a garage. Is 80 pounds of pressure too much for an engine? It's. I mean, is that hot or cold? If that's when it's hot, that's quite a bit, but it's not too much.
Well, it's a lot of drag.
It is a lot of drag. You really want to go. My belief is about 10. If you're pushing the engine hard, about 10 pounds per 1,000 RPMs that you use. So if you got a 6,500 RPM limit, then 65 psi.
Well, now,
you can run less than that too, depending how hard you're caning it.
I typically build my toy engines really loose. I like loose engines, right? Oh, Evan Webb, thank you so much for the super chat.
Wow,
I like loose engines. But when I built the engine for a slag hammer, I figured, well, this thing's the primary thing for this thing is to go on power torque. So it's got all stock clearances and it's got a high volume pump. So that thing with a 30-weight oil in it, when it's cold, has 80 pounds at idle. And then after it warms up, it'll drop down to around 30, 35 or so. But 80 pounds is the upper limit. At 80 pounds, that's when the bypass spring opens. I could probably drop it, probably should drop it a little bit, but it's running the way it is. So I'm not going
Yeah,
to
it
worry
does
about
take energy to run the pump.
it. So if it starts out 80 pounds cold, then yeah, that's acceptable as long as it drops down into, let's say, the 25, 30 psi hot idle, and then you're okay.
Mr. Scraps, Holly Sniper 2, is it worth it over a carb for an older daily driver? No.
Yeah, my opinion is absolutely not.
No. I mean, I had a guy call me this week wanting me to take his Sniper off and put a carburetor back on it because he'd had enough of it. He couldn't get anyone to work on it, me included, because they just, like there's some people have had a good run out of them. Not enough. Not enough people have had a good run with them.
If you go on the forums, if you search Holly Sniper on forums, right, you'll see that at least half of the people who buy them either have so many problems that they give up on them, or are in the middle of trying to troubleshoot unsolvable issues. It's bad. And then, here's the other thing too. I observe stuff, because I'm in the business, I'm in the YouTube business. So I've seen countless applications where people have put snipers on their cars, because Holly just gives, you got a YouTube channel, oh, here, have a sniper, have 2 snipers, have as many snipers as you want, you influencer, right? So I've seen numerous times on extremely popular YouTube channels where the YouTuber installed a sniper, and then you could see very clearly from the time, okay, they finished the installation and then they got it running, and you could clearly see there's a difference in their attitude. There's a difference in time. Like, you could see like weeks go by, like their beard grew out or whatever it happens to be. You can see that was not the straightforward, easy installation, the trouble-free thing that they try to represent it to be. And like I said, I've watched this a number of times. I see it over and over again. So I would stay away. I wouldn't even use one of those things as a friggin' doorstop.
The Terminator, if you want to spend a bunch of money in the Terminator Holly, is what?
Corn?
Corn, yes, corn. Yes, you're correct.
I was wondering if you want some.
Oh, I see. Yes, I'll take it with me.
Okay.
Unless you've got a grill around here.
What were you saying?
The Terminator, the Holly Terminator, is a better
It's a higher
management system.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's 3 times the price. So for a daily driver that you want to just drive around and it might be a little harder to drive with the carburetor, and as we're heading into winter, but we've done it for decades on carburetors, and everyone's lived. Grandma used to be able to drive a carburetor in the winter.
Simple. Keep it simple. You'll be happier in the long run. Nathan Wood, what's the math on A-body torsion bars? Like, how many turns equals 1 inch? New to A-body. I know for a B-body it's roughly 8 turns for 1 inch. How wore out are your torsion bars? You go 8 turns to get an inch of rise. There is no set number. What I usually do is I'll go 1 full turn, then bounce the car, right? Because you have to bounce it. Or even better than bouncing the car, after you've gone 1 turn, 1 full revolution, turn the steering wheel lock to lock. Okay, because when you turn the steering wheel lock to lock, you'll resettle the suspension and it'll come up or go down depending on what direction you're looking for. And then try it again. 8 turns is a lot. 8 turns will almost max out.
Fair bit,
yeah. But go 1 full revolution in the direction either up or down that you want to go, and then work out the suspension by turning the wheel lock to lock, and then check your height at that point.
Look, Jason Fitch, the sniper install guys age at the same rate as presidents do. Yeah, there might be some truth to that.
I've seen so much goofiness. I know, because I don't know if you guys watch these videos the way I do, but I watch them from the perspective of a content creator. So I'm looking at what they're doing, not so much their content, but what they're doing. And I see it every time they get involved with one of these sniper things. It's always like,
DD got burned, didn't he?
Yeah, everybody gets burnt with them. Some people are honest about it, and some people are so up Holly's ass. Because remember, it's not just Holly; it's all of the companies that Holly owns. And some of these YouTubers are so far up their asses that they have no choice but to say glowing things about
them. Eric Uvan, either of you owned any Plymouth Champs? I have not owned a Plymouth Champ. Have you owned a Plymouth Champ?
No, I had the Dodge Colt, which was the Mitsubishi version.
Oh, the Mitsubishi Mirage. They were called.
No, it was a Colt. I had a '79 Colt.
79. So was that rear drive? Rear
Front
drive?
drive.
Front drive.
Front
Yeah.
drive. What a
Little
fantastic
hatchback
car.
thing.
Little hatchback.
Yeah, Mitsubishi called them Mirage in New Zealand and Australia.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
Mirage. Yeah. Now you know.
And that had an 8-speed box. It had a 4-speed with a high-low range.
Oh,
There was a little lever. You had
I do remember
the
something
4-speed
about
shifter.
that. Yeah,
Was
yeah.
it a 5-speed shifter? It was a 10-speed.
Hmm.
You had a 5-speed shifter and a little high-low lever next
It
to
was
it.
like an economy and power
Yeah.
kind of shift thing,
Yeah.
wasn't it? That's
Yeah.
I remember. God, that's going back a while. Right. Here we go.
Well, somebody sent a super chat.
Yeah, but I didn't see a question with it.
Oh, well, whoever sent the super chat, thank you.
Look, unless you can. Somebody asked me a question, but I've lost it. Oh, I've lost it. Zero's watching The Lord of the Rings, filmed in Middle New Zealand. Yes, Middle Earth, yeah. Never actually been there myself.
To New Zealand, I thought you came from.
No, you ding dong, Middle Earth.
Oh, Automotive Carnage. Thank you.
Thanks for the super chat.
Yes.
Just want to say a huge thanks, Tony. Your how-to videos on building an engine at home gave me the confidence to rebuild my first engine, and it ran.
Excellent.
That's
Excellent.
cool.
I hope you have many more in your future. Isn't it a blast? I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care how many decades you're doing this, right? I built my first engine when I was 15. Okay, and I'm 61 now, and in between there have been I couldn't. It's an uncountable number of engines,
Yeah.
and I get the same kick every single time. When the thing lights off, it's like I get the same kick every time. It's one of the things that keeps you going with this. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Who was it? See, that's where's it gone? Kiwi. Mitten Made Muscle. Holly released a cheaper version of the Terminator. Check it out. I might take a look at that, although cheaper's not necessarily better. Depends what they took out of it.
Tavo saying, am I promoting ethanol? In fact, I am. And if you watch the video that I just shot most of it, it'll either be out tomorrow or Friday morning. And yeah, I am promoting ethanol.
Why did I click on that? Yeah, it was just Evan Webb, just super chat, but no question.
Thank you, Evan.
Yeah. Can't complain about that.
You can't, no. That's awesome. Thank you. Jason Fitch, an engine lighting off gives the same rush as the first time you saw Hooters. That's not true. That's not true. It's not even close. It's not even close.
We talking about the restaurant or the real thing?
Nope. Oh no, the real
The
thing.
real thing.
Yeah. I've seen plenty of sweater puppies. They don't even come close to matching the kick they're firing up your first engine. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. But
no, that's probably a fair comment, actually. Right. Dean Stevenson, beer causes martial law.
what?
Tavo, the ethanol comment was regarding the corn offer. So how many miles will you get out of that?
Oh, geez, you could almost get down the driveway with that. Almost.
Almost. Okay, good.
Let's see. Charlotte Cohen says a billabong is a flooded backwater area at the mouth of a river.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that clears everything up.
Yeah. Dragon's Breath 198 doing an LS swap. LS3 aluminum block. It's a good little engine.
John, how do we get that year of corn to my fuel line? Well, I have to smash it up really, really good, and it goes. Ashley Patterson, any good EV yet? I don't know what she means by that.
Yeah, you have to quantify good, wouldn't you? Good for what? Like $50,000 fire starters?
Good
fire starters.
The insurance companies won't touch them now. Like I'm just watching all of these things where insurance companies
they're getting more and more nervous.
Not only won't they insure the cars, right? But they don't want to insure parking garages. They don't want to insure any place where cars are grouped together. They're like, nope.
So like at the airport,
you're on your own.
At the airport where they've got all those EV charging stations, like right by the elevator.
Yeah,
Right.
of all the places to put them.
They should be at
Just stick
the back field somewhere. Oh dear.
Just napalm the people as they get off the elevator.
Oh shit.
And look, Zero, the amazingly versatile
I've got my
Zero.
channel up. Thank
Put
you,
your
Zero.
channel up there, and you guys need to subscribe to Kiwi's
Classics and
corn
custom.
and yeah.
Corn.
Ethanol is only good for a year.
Edsel Garage Shop. How do EVs have heat during the winter? Is it an element that heats up? That's exactly what it is. But
Yeah.
so all these claimed mileages that they'll get on a charge, all those claims are on dead flat roads with no turns or minimal turns,
in 70-degree
no
weather.
AC on, no heating on, no fan on, no headlights on, no nothing. As soon as you start using any electrical accessories, and AC and heat is purely electric,
Take a fully
your
charged
range goes down the shitter.
Take a fully charged electric car, right, and drive it up Mount Washington at night during a snowstorm when it's like 20 degrees out. Then tell me how much range you have left when you get to the top.
Yeah, hopefully you can coast back down.
You'd have to. You would have to coast back down.
Well, the hills really hurt the electric cars. I know Audi with their EVs, in your navigation, I know you guys will, some of you may know this, but when you select your navigation, there's filters you can put on it that'll, like avoid freeways or take the shortest route or stuff like that. Well, on the Audi GPS, you have an option for the flattest route, like the route with the least hills. And because that's how much the hills affect them. Like you can drive further on the flat, a lot further on the flat than you can going up and down hills.
Somebody just said about Cordell B says Tesla uses a heat pump. Yeah, but a heat pump also uses the heat pump makes some heat, but it does use a supplementary heating element because it just isn't enough heat. Look at the heat pump set up in any house.
But what drives the heat pump?
The AC compressor.
What drives the AC compressor?
The electricity. So you've got both things going. You've got
have
the heat
no
pump driving the
mechanical-
AC compressor, and at the same time, you've also got the heating elements.
Yeah. Agent Orange, New Zealand, question mark. What part of Wisconsin is that in? Very southern Wisconsin. Very, very southern.
The southern tip of Wisconsin. Where you
Kiwi,
go surfing.
Kiwi, did you meet Peg? Not sure what that's about.
No, he never met Peg, and he's never seen Peg's leg either, so let's not go there. Evan Webb, thank you, sir. I'm new to this. Maybe you are. It would be about 1970 Challengers. My favorite first car was a 70 Le Mans, but I've fallen in love with the Challenger. Is there a better car from 70 if I was buying one? Oh, wow. Okay. Is there a better car than the 70 Challenger? It really depends on what you consider to be better. From a styling standpoint, no. From a power option standpoint, no, you can't beat it. The 70 Challenger is like it's one of the few bodies that literally had what was a Barracuda. The Barracuda had the 186. The Challenger didn't. The 70 Barracuda had every single engine Chrysler built in a 1970 model year available in it, and the 70 Challenger was right behind it. Just didn't have the 186 slant as an option. It was 225. But that's besides the point. From a styling standpoint, I don't think you can beat it. From a power plant standpoint, I know you can't beat it. From a driving standpoint, they're okay. From a quality standpoint, no, they're a lot better. You'll find if you get into a 70 E-body, or any E-body for that matter, they do feel cheap. They rattle a lot. They have a they don't exude quality when you drive them down the road. It's the only thing I could say about it. Some are better than others. But what's your opinion on it?
Hard to disagree with you on that one. It's a very good looking car. Yeah. The 71 Mustang, no. 70 Mustang's pretty nice.
I got a bug for the 69.
Yeah,
he's talking about a
better.
70 model year car.
Yeah, for a 70 model, the Mustang's not bad. It depends what money you want to spend too. Like that when you're talking about being the best car, is that what parameters does that include? Is that what it's going to cost you, what it's going to cost for parts, what it's going to cost to run, or is it just how it looks?
It's a wide open question.
Yeah.
It really is.
There's a lot of different facets to that question. In that, what do you define as good? Is good getting 40 miles per gallon? Because you're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah. here's how you measure it. Okay, this goes for any car. When the thought of the car you want pops, or you're thinking about a car, the one that pops into your head first is the one you really want. Your second thought. So you picture a classic car. I want a classic car. The very first car that pops into your head is the one that you really want. That's the one that talks to you for whatever reason. And if you see any other cars beyond that, it's because you're rationalizing it out. So I would say go with your first into the first thing that calls your name, go to it. And then after you've lived with it, then you decide whether or not it was a good deal. And either you keep it and refine its issues, or you get rid of it and move on and you learn your lesson from it. But go with, if the 70 Challenger is what floats your boat, that's the one you want to go with.
Yeah. This is interesting. Rob Morris, according to Toyota, solid-state batteries will have a range of 700 miles and will charge in 10 minutes, hit the market in 27, 28.
Rob, it's entirely possible, but they've been talking about these batteries, these mythical batteries and these mythical technologies for years now. This is nothing new. Let's just say they'll be available, what are you saying? They'll be available in 2027 to 2028. So you're talking about 5 years from now, right? Is that right? Yeah, 5 years from now.
5, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you realize that's in pipe in terms of like engineering and production. That's pipe dream territory. That's like saying, yeah, we're going to have flying cars in 2027, 2028. There's no bearing on reality there. When they have operating prototypes that they can bring to, let's say, the auto show, or give to the press to say, here, take this car and go test it, right? At that point, you've got something viable, something to talk about. But as far as like right now, that's a pipe dream. Anything that's not going to be available for another 5 years and has no functional examples that can be given to people to use, it's a pipe dream.
Yeah, and it sounds good. Like 700 miles, that'd be awesome. 10-minute recharge, that'd be awesome. But if it's going to take 5 years, I think it'll be too little, too late. I mean, the EV, I think, will be dead.
The damage is already done in the eyes of the general public.
Yeah, they've taken a pounding. That's for sure. And I think another 5 years, if they can't improve up to that 700 mile mark, then I think they'll be dead and gone. But if we got to wait, there'll be a lot of worthless EVs around.
People just they don't want people to vote. People vote with their pockets.
Yeah,
with their wallets, I should say, and they're not taking these cars. They're not taking these cars. Now that's not everybody. And if you own an electric car and you like electric cars, I'm on your side. More power to you. I'm glad you have it. I'm glad it works for you. It fits your lifestyle. You're having fun with it. And I honestly, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not just saying this. I'm happy for you. I'm glad there are people out there with electric cars that enjoy their electric cars. This is as it should be. Whatever turns you on for whatever reason, it should be available to you as far as cars go. So I'm not down on that. It's the mass forcing the public into that direction. That's where I have the problem. And the propaganda that goes with it. Why don't you take one, Kiwi?
Okay.
I'm going to sit back and watch you read. Study this. See, we're a real pro.
There we go. Murder Nova. I'll be driving my where's it gone? My Monte Carlo in another 5 years. Yes, I'm sure you will. Nice simple car.
Your voice isn't really in sync with your lips.
Really?
Yeah,
that's the ventriloquist factor.
Well, it's kind of like one of them dubbed like Godzilla movies. It's a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe
I think it's your hearing's going slow. Anyway, so much for answering that question. I get pestered by. When GM launched the EV1, they claimed it would have a solid-state battery, and that was 20 years ago.
Right.
Still no solid-state battery.
Thank you. I couldn't think of it, yes.
And the EV1 is long gone. Kenny May, what is a good thumpy cam for a 6-litre LS lift-wise? Yeah, don't know.
What was that now?
a good lumpy cam for an LS, 6-litre LS?
Lift wise, lift doesn't give you lump.
Well, what is a good thumpy cam for a 6-litre lift wise? No, it's the overlap, isn't it?
Right. The lobe separation angle is really what gives you the lump.
Yeah.
Right. So overlap, LSA, that's where your lump comes from. Lift has zero to do with lump.
I mean, those thumper cams are probably, I mean, they're made to sound that way, and they probably make one for an LS. They'd be fools if they didn't. So I'd look for one of those.
Okay,
thumper cams.
You're saying electric cars should exist. Where was this now? So you're saying electric cars should exist even despite the fire hazards. Well, the fire hazard is one of the liabilities that you take on when you buy an electric car. And if there's a small percentage, if there's only, let's say, 5% of the cars on the road and that are electric, it's kind of an acceptable risk level. At that point, you say, well, it's a small enough percentage that it's not a big deal. And even now, it's still a small enough percentage that it's not a big deal. What it is an omen of what's to come if you get to 30, 40, 50%, or 100%. Then it's a completely different story. So it's not that there are so many electric cars bursting into flames all over the place all the time. It's the fact that there's such a small percentage of them, and when they do burn, they make headlines. Now imagine when they're half the fleet. Okay, it's ridiculous. Literally, you're going to burn down the world. So, yeah, if you want one, have one. Nobody should stop you from having one, but you also assume all the liabilities that come with owning one.
Yeah, John M. The Cougar Fastback is looking sweet. Any new vids on it? No, I put one up. I think the last video I did was on the Cougar. We got the brakes just arrived for that. Some nice big 14-inch Woolwood rotors.
That's big.
That is big. It's considering a Cougar first came out with 14-inch wheels. Now we're putting 14-inch brake rotors on it.
I have 10-inch drums.
Yeah, but you don't. I mean. Yeah, the brake pedal's optional on your builds, though, isn't it?
I swear to God, it'll have a brake pedal.
It will?
Yes, and it'll be connected to things.
Things. Might be connected by rods.
How much?
We don't need this
how much for those
hydraulic
rotors?
shit. What?
How much for those rotors?
Oh, I think the front kit was $2,800.
Yeah. Okay. I ordered a master cylinder, 2 front hoses, 4 wheel cylinders, everything soft in the system, everything that wears in the system, right? $96.
$96
for the works. When we were
running, a bit less, yeah. So I can't really argue that one.
We switched from top fuel from funny car to top fuel back in 93, 94, I think it was. If I forget the year, we switched over from when they wanted the funny cars to have carbon fiber rotors at that point. The carbon fiber rotors were $2,000 each.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Back then.
And it was one of the reasons we switched over to dragsters. You didn't have to have front brakes at all.
Gee. Yeah, that's a bit heavy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's frozen.
Hit the blue button.
Frozen. There we go. Tony and Kiwi, know anything about the Buick 3100S other than intake gaskets blow? No, I haven't dealt with the 3100 Buick. Have you?
I've never worked on plenty of them. I never hot rodded any of them.
Right.
I mean, I'm familiar with that gasket that goes bad, the plastic gasket with the impregnated neoprene, like the O-ring that's in there. I know about that, but let's see.
Roger Wixel, this is a question for you, Tony. Thoughts on the Jeep 4.0 to the 4.6 stroker? Stick with good stock parts or pay the extra money and go with forged?
Depends on the use, man. It depends on the use. If it's just a driver, you're not going to be like hammering it, no nitrous, no nothing like that. Just, something you're going to play with. Stock parts are fine. If you're going to race it, if you're going to really step on this thing, then yeah, go with the better parts. It just depends on your use. But it is funny you bring that up because I was just telling him I bought yet another XJ, right? I bought one yesterday.
We missed the super chat.
Oh no.
Here we go, John Mass.
Well, just finish this. I
Oh.
bought another XJ yesterday, and what happened was I bought the first XJ, and I love it stock. I don't want to mess with it. And I bought the second XJ, and it turns out it's such a great driver. I don't want to screw around with that one either. So I bought yet another XJ yesterday, and this one has already been messed with. So I'm probably going to do a stroker for that one, but I'm not completely sure yet.
Right.
Yeah. But
To be determined.
to be determined. All right, Drum Mace, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
As a rule of thumb, torque to cubic inch ratio for 8.95 to 1 engine should be at or near 100% volumetric efficiency in a daily driver, such as 318 equals 318 foot-pounds, and so on and so forth. Would you agree with that, or is that being generous? Yeah. I mean, that seems reasonable, and it seems in the ballpark of a healthy engine. I mean, I've never really looked at it from that perspective, but yeah, that sounds about reasonable. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm just trying to compare it to the motor of my Mustang. That's 557 cubic inches, but it's 10.5 to 1 compression. But that made 750 foot-pounds of torque. But that's a very different engine to a 318. So yeah, with a little bit less compression, yeah, cubic inch to foot-pounds is probably, yeah, you're probably in the ballpark. Yeah. Yep. Go on with that. Did we get that one? Loud pipes save lives. The modern snake oil salesman Elon Musk on the channel peaked. Interest is a must watch.
No, what's this now? Okay, that's the name of it. The modern snake oil salesman, Elon Musk, on the channel peaked interest is a must watch. Okay, well, thank you for the super chat on that. But yeah, I'll check that out. To me, the jury's out on the guy. I mean, he's got an accent. I don't trust anybody with a freaking accent, right? He talks funny.
What do you mean?
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I didn't. Can I like people with accents. I
Now
trust
who's
them.
a snake oil salesman? Eh? Yeah.
No, the jury's out on the guy. I really don't know. I know that this.
Oh, I like Elon Musk.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I can't say.
He's got a sense of humor. He doesn't take himself too seriously.
I don't think he's human.
He's extremely intelligent.
Yeah, I don't think he's human though. There's something there. There's something there. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know if I like him or I dislike him. I don't know if I trust him or distrust him. But he's an interesting character for sure.
Okay. Now, what else have we got to talk about?
See, there is
Chris Freemasser, a New Yorker busting other people's accents.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. And Charlie's saying, what accent, right? No, Charlie don't have no accent.
Exactly. I haven't got an accent. Just all you guys. Well, maybe, no, Chavo's got an accent too.
Mark, I think Elon has a touch of autism. He certainly does.
Yeah.
I have a touch of autism. So it's like, I recognize that.
Elon did us a solid buying Twitter go free speech. Yeah, that's true.
Ashley Patterson wants to make her Oldsmobile a sleeper. I just don't know what to do with it. Well, and what Oldsmobile is it? What motor is in there? Because, I mean, the easiest way to make a sleeper is just spray the thing, you know? It's
nitrous, yeah. Or, if it's not got a 455 in it, slip a 455 in it.
Yeah.
Because it'll go straight in, even if it's a 350.
The cheapest, easiest way to make anything a sleeper is nitrous.
True, yeah.
Rob Kalin, I recently found your channel. Been watching your older videos. They're awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And don't forget to watch Kiwi's videos on your channel has a name?
Yes, Kiwi Classics and Customs, which Tony has, a year and a half now it's been running?
I'll remember what it is.
Yeah,
it doesn't. At some point, I'll remember what it is.
Yeah.
But you need to go over there and sub to him. Do you still have that 6 months to live, or have they revised that? He's only got 6 months to live. So you guys need to get over there and sub to his channel and watch those videos now, while you still can, while we still have the glory of Kiwi right here.
While we're still young.
Why do you appear to be larger than me again?
Because I lean in. Because I can't see the damn writing on the corner on the side here. So I've got to lean in so I can see it and read it.
You need stronger glasses?
I need stronger binoculars.
What number are those?
275s.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh, these are 175s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm better than you. I can see better than you. All right. Uh, okay. Let's hit the blue
No, the
button.
blue button. The blue button.
Carol Sanders. Is Carol Sanders still here? Carol Sanders has been like email bombing Kathy. Evidently she's Carol. Kathy has blocked your email. You just pissed her off. You sent so many emails to her that she's like, she told me this morning, I blocked that guy, Carol, whatever. So yeah, so just stop, okay? Just stop. C-Roma, can you double up on the nitrous plates to get more power? Yes, that's the engine that's over there on the stand. Well, you can't see it here now, but the engine that's on the stand over there for Bottle Rocket has it's a stacked plate, so it'll leave on one plate and then you add the second plate in. So yes, you can absolutely stack plates.
CW Kiwi's channel is great. Well, thank you, sir.
Yes, and the ever helpful Zero, always
Yeah.
having our backs,
Yeah.
has put up a link to your channel.
Yeah.
You had
I appreciate that.
You recently had a big video.
I did, yeah. That Mustang convertible. That was the hack job that came out of North Carolina.
How many views?
56,000 views.
50. That, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people do YouTube for like 20 years and they never see anything that's even remotely?
I'm sure, yeah.
That's a fantastic video.
Yeah, it's a good video, and I mean, it's just, this look, it's good. It's nice to get like a 50-something thousand view video. It is really good, but at the same time, I wish the guy hadn't made such a monumental stuff up by buying it, and like I just wish nobody ran into that issue anymore. I'd rather not have any views, and just people be sensible about what they buy.
But those things are going to happen.
Yeah.
And you doing videos on this helps prevent that happening in the future and does get out there and educates people. So
yeah. Well,
it's a positive, man.
I've got another video coming up, and we go through a little bit of what to look for. But probably most of you guys watching have got a pretty good idea what to look for. But unfortunately, there's people out there. And I did feel like a few of the comments, we got a lot of comments on that video, and a few people were pretty hard on the owner. Like how could he be so stupid and that kind of thing. The thing you guys got to remember is that like you don't know what you don't know, and there's a lot of people into classic cars, love them, want to drive them, want to own one, and know nothing about them.
They don't
like you don't have to be like working on cars from when you're 16 in order to like a classic car. Like some people just grow up and maybe they're in the tech part of the world, or just just some completely different, maybe the medical industry. They know how to make a human being work, but they have no idea how a car works. Also, you put gas in one end, you put a key in the hole, and you drive.
All con men take advantage of the inherent goodness of human nature.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we want to believe people. We want to. It's born into us. We want to trust people. We want to believe they're honest. We want to believe that we're not being ripped off. This is something that's just hardwired into us. And if you and the definition of street smarts is to know that that's not always the case, and not know it because you have to think it, but know it because it's ingrained in you. It's a reflex action. This guy's probably lying to me.
And you usually learn that by making your own
getting
mistakes.
Burned.
Like
right.
Someone does you over, and you go, I ain't gonna let that happen again.
Yeah.
And this guy with the convertible, he wants to get another car.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily, it hasn't driven him away from the hobby. He realizes he made a mistake. And next time he's going to get it checked out before. And if this particular company did a lot of work to not have you they didn't say outright you can't do an inspection, but they made it hard for you to do an inspection. And any sign like that, you kind of just
and you covered that in the video, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I know I find it very. Obviously, it's their fault for not looking at the car, for not looking into it, right? But I find it I'm not getting it inspected, but I find it hard to really put the blame on those people because they're innocent in our world, in the world of cars. They're naive, It's like a puppy wagging its tail and coming over to you and wanting to get petted, and instead of petting it, you reach out and you smack them, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You got to feel bad for the puppy. It's not that the puppy should have realized, hey, I'm going to get smacked. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the world we live in.
Sid Ryder, they sure trust too much, but they are also inclined to. They're sure to trust too much, but they are also inclined to trust too much. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Most people are basically honest, and we just want to believe that everybody is equally honest. And that's how con men work. That's how, you know what I mean? That's the premise of the con job.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of McPherson College Auto Restoration? No, I have not.
I just did. I read about it on
on here? Not
Yes.
not that comment.
Yeah. So well, now I have heard of it. So yes, absolutely. Okay.
Remy Kushner, been having some serious tip and sag on my thermoquad. 318 runs very lean with mixture screws, 4 turns out, and once the throttle plate's very close at idle. This caused by bypass air or a vacuum leak, maybe.
Yeah, it sounds like a vacuum leak. Runs very lean. Well, okay, so if it's running very lean with the mixture screws out 4 turns, you've obviously got a blockage in the idle passage circuits, and you're going to find those idle passage circuits in the booster section of the body. So you want to take that carburetor apart, and you want to take a piece of stainless wire, very fine stainless wire, the thinnest you can get. You could use, you know the bread ties that you get on like a loaf of bread. If you use that, take the paper off of that, use that wire. You've got to pass through all of the passages in the booster in the idle circuitry. And like I said, the blockage part is going to be found in the booster section of the carburetor, because the idle passage, see, it's counterintuitive. And I did a whole video on this, and you could probably search it and find it. But just the short version of it is this. So your float bowl is here, okay? The fuel is here, and the screws are here at the bottom of the carburetor, right? So you would think, well, it's just a passage from here to here, but it doesn't work like that. The idle circuit has to be higher than the level of the fuel. So the idle circuit, when you're turning idle screws, that fuel passage has to go first up above the level of fuel in the carburetor, and then down to the, so that's where you're going to find your blockage. You're going to find your blockage in the section of the idle passage that's normally above the level of fuel in the carburetor. I hope that made sense. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
But you know what you're talking about.
Well, yeah,
they
that's
don't.
the thing. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. To go, Tony, little super chat.
Yes, thank you for the super chat.
What do you run for piston to wall clearance on your race engine?
It just depends on the engine. It depends on the piston. It depends on its intended application. It's all different clearances based on the type of piston, the type of application.
Yeah, we need a little bit more, a little bit more specifics on what engine what you're trying to do with it.
The best overall answer to that question, and really the only accurate answer to that question, is to call the piston manufacturer. Tell them what piston you're using, providing they made that piston. Tell them what the application is, and they will tell you what the optimum piston wall clearance is going to be.
Yeah, because that's what they do.
That's what they do.
That's what they
do. I'm a random YouTuber. Those are the people who actually make those
all day, every day.
Right. It's like people are always asking me, what about the cam? What kind of cam should I use? I want it to go lumpy and do wheelies and stuff. Like, don't ask me. I'm a random guy on YouTube. Go ask a cam manufacturer, ask the cam grinder. This is what they do. And you give them all of your information, everything. They want to know your shoe size. They need all of that information, and then they can give you an accurate answer. So it's the same thing with clearances on things like pistons.
Con job salesman sounds like some politicians. Well, yeah, they tell you what you want to hear, just like a con job salesman. Charlotte Cullen, the dude at Maple Motors, drives his hot rods for sale. That he has for sale over a lighted camera forward and backwards. I like that.
I've seen that.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen that.
Yeah, that'll be.
You wouldn't really be able to tell very much, though.
No, I'm not convinced that's going to give you as much information as actually laying eyeballs on it.
That Cougar.
Because of angles of like any car always looks better in photos or film than it really is. If you could see up, in person some of these Hollywood cars, like Dukes of Hazzard cars or Gone in 60 Seconds cars, they're rough, but they look great on TV.
40 years ago, I did a drag test on the Batmobile.
Oh yeah.
We had one of the original Batmobiles. This was when I was doing Cars Illustrated magazine, right? So I did a drag test on the Batmobile, and the quality of this car was so bad. And it was one of the 4 that they used in the filming. So it was one that was actually on
the original TV show.
It was when you saw this car in real life, everything was just tacky and wavy, and it looked like it was all like stuck together. It was just, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like the most
race tape and Bondo.
Yeah, and it had cracks in it. Like the Bondo had these fissures in it. Like you had to look for them. You know what I mean? Because like you wouldn't see them like from a distance. It's a show car. They try to hide stuff, right?
Right.
So they dial it over. But when you really got up close to the car, I remember like I remember one of the front fenders. There was a fissure in one of the front fenders that you could look down, and it was just a solid wall of Bondo. It was like the Grand Canyon had opened up, and it was just Bondo for as far down as you could see, like 4 inches thick, and I'm not exaggerating.
Nathan Shed, how do you guys feel about a Melling cams and lifters for a Ford 351 Windsor? Melling's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it's a good brand name stuff. I can't speak specifically for them, but the name doesn't scare me at all. Is that Maury?
No.
Oh.
No, I was just checking one.
Okay. She usually pops in,
Yeah.
Because she likes me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The
blue button. Okay. It's always my job on the blue button, isn't it? Here we go. The Monkey's car, this is Dickie Farley. The Monkey's car was like that. It was a real dog under the hood, and a lot of things were made to look good just driving by to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very easy thing to achieve.
One of the things with the Batmobile was that it was either a 260 or a 289. So this is this giant, huge, heavy car. It was like 5,000, 6,000 pounds. And it had a very tired small block Ford in it. And one of the things we had to do was a burnout.
Yeah.
So we had what's that?
That would have been a struggle.
It was a struggle.
Yeah.
It was a struggle. And we did this in Englishtown, and we did this in a funny car race in front of a crowd. And I actually so we had one of the other staffers, a guy named Jim Cosks, was wearing a Batman costume. So he was for the drive run, for the photos and stuff. So we were going to have him do a burnout with the car, and he couldn't get it to do a burnout. We tried. So I said, let me at that thing. So I put on the Batman stuff, right? And I got in the car, and after about, I don't know, probably like 10 tries, I finally got the back tires to go, ick, 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 and then eventually it would smoke a little bit. But if you can see the pictures out there. Norman Blake took the picture that like you'll find if you Google search Batmobile drag test or Batmobile road test. There's a picture of the Batmobile doing a burnout, and I'm the guy wearing a Batman costume in that picture.
Yeah, Andrew Button, Kiwi, have you ever seen chicken wire or magazines underwear hidden in Bondo? Say in the quarter panels. Not underwear, no. Chicken wire magazines, yeah. One of the funniest one that cracked me up was on a truck. It was an old Chevy truck, and they'd put a little bit of really thin tin down to put some mud over in the floors, trying to cover the holes in the floor, and they'd actually cut up the Bondo tin and use the Bondo. I mean, that's like using everything, no waste. Right? They used the Bondo tin once they'd emptied it to make the patch to go down on the floor.
No waste.
And then mud it, then undercoated it and did whatever they got to do.
At least there was a piece of metal in there.
Well,
I mean, you give
seen
them
the
some
gauge
credit.
of a Bondo tin? It's like 32 gauge.
It's better than a newspaper. You know what I mean?
True, yes. Well, yeah, you got a point there, I guess. Right. Hey, old guys, when was gas welding and brazing the only option in car repair? 1970, 1940? Ooh.
Only option. So when I started, okay, so it'd be like the mid 70s, 77, 76, 77, 78. Uh, gas welding was the thing. I actually, the first time I ever electric welded was when I tigged a funny car chassis together at my house in 1988, I think it was.
Hmm.
So for the first like 10, 12 years that I was welding, it was 100% oxyacetylene. Electric welding was there, but it was like highfalutin. If you had like a muffler shop or something like that, and exhaust systems, everything was done with oxyacetylene. And
Yeah.
then the MIGs started to come in like around the very late 70s, early 80s. But that was like high tech stuff at the time.
Mm. Tarbo, the Batmobile, didn't need a big engine. It had a jet shooting out of the back. Yeah. Okay.
Which I think was like a garbage pail. It was like an office like style garbage pail that they stuck in there. Just the silliest stuff.
That's the thing with these Aussies, though. You see, like they see the jet thing shooting out the back, and
They
they're like,
believe it.
oh, they believe it.
Just like the
they're
blower on the
lovely
Mad Max
people,
thing.
but they're simple folk. The
Yeah.
Aussies. Yeah.
Well, they don't have to develop those
Just messing with you,
those
Tarbo.
forward thought things like when you guys on the raft, because there's a lot of survivability there. You know what
On
I'm
the
saying?
raft.
So
Yeah.
you guys develop some pretty sophisticated thoughts. What do they have? They got what? Olivia Newton-John and shrimps on the Barbie. I mean, that's
And Mad Max.
not much stress there.
Mel Gibson. Charlotte Quinlan learned on gas, then stick, then MIG. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of our era, man.
Well, those are the two choices. I guess when I got started was actually acetylene or stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stick is very impractical. It's when you're a mechanic, stick welding is just not.
No.
But the torch comes in handy for so many different things. So it's just a natural byproduct. You get the torch to heat bolts and things that are stuck, cut metal, and as well you got the same tool that you're going to use to weld with. So it was just a natural thing. One tool, the torch, handled so many different.
Yeah. Chris Freemason, North Raft or South Raft? North Raft, mate. North Raft.
Yeah. The high end
coat
raft.
hanger and flame. Yeah, that's right. That's definitely Tony.
Yep. Zillions of yards of coat hanger. I can't tell you how much coat hanger I melted into cars.
0. Yes, Mel Gibson was born in Australia. Yeah. And then there's Keith Urban, who everyone says he's Australian, but he was actually born in New Zealand. But he did grow up in Australia, to be fair. He's a country music guy.
Who
I've
is?
never heard of him.
I hate country music.
Keith Urban.
Yeah, I don't know him. I hate
Don't know?
country.
You don't like country
I hate
music?
country. I despise country music.
Really?
Yeah, it's like you go figure, right? I love Nashville. I hate country music.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an
I can't handle
oxymoron.
it. Yeah, I can't handle it.
No?
Yeah.
Oh.
Bad.
Oh, well, we'll have to cruise down there in Steve's Oldsmobile. We'll take you down to the honky tonks.
I like a tiny bit of like Johnny Cash.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very old school.
Yeah.
Very old school.
Let's see. Andrew Barton, I would like to build a car completely out of Dorman parts and license it as a 2023 Dorman. Go for it.
Yeah, go for it. You can probably just about do it.
Coat hangers work good with a TIG welder too. Yeah.
Yeah. You need oxyacetylene no matter what kind of welding that you do. Yeah, oxyacetylene plant is a pretty vital tool.
Well, you see, okay, so like, let's say you're going to TIG, right? Let's say you're going to TIG chromoly, and you're going to do it by the book, right?
Right.
First, the book says you shouldn't TIG weld chromoly. Chromoly was formulated to be oxyacetylene welded. But if you're going to do the NHRA rule book thing, it has to be TIG welded. But if you're going to do it by the book, after you're done TIG welding it, you're supposed to let it cool, and then you're supposed to heat it to a dull red with an oxyacetylene torch to normalize the metal around the weld itself to keep it from cracking.
Yeah, it gets brittle.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, the SFI says you have to TIG this. It's like a Nazi thing. Like, you have to TIG this. But in the meantime, like I said, chromoly was originally formulated as aircraft tubing, lightweight aircraft tubing, right? And if you look at what the FAA says, forget the NHRA, forget the SFI, right? If you look at the FAA, right? The FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, right? They say the only acceptable method to weld chromoly is oxyacetylene. That's it. So I mean, who do you, I had this argument with NHRA tech people back in the day too. You know what I mean? Because I was gas welding everything. I said, well, look, here's I mean, showed on the paper. Look, here's the FAA says you can't do what you want me to do to this. And I'm like, well, take it up with Murph McKinney. He's on the. So I was like, okay, no, fine.
So is that the reason they're saying only oxyacetylene? Is that because of the
Yes,
slow build of
it
heat?
normalizes the weld.
Yeah.
Right.
With TIG or MIG, it gets hot very quick.
Exactly. It gets hot quick, and it stresses the metal around the weld, so it'll crack next to the weld. And if you ever look at a crashed car, you ever look at a crashed race car, the weld never breaks. The crack is always right alongside the weld. And that's because they didn't normalize it. They didn't normalize it.
Jay Weiss, loving the show. Well, good. Thank you.
Andrew Button, does the NHRA require roll gauge only to be wire fed welded? No. There is no spec for anything except chromoly. Chromoly has to be TIG.
Rodney Clark, love the show. Any advice on installing a Woolwood master cylinder on a 68 Roadrunner, disc front, drum rear? It's really like installing any other master cylinder. There's not really a trick to it. Obviously, you need to get your bore size right. You've got discs and drums, so take that into consideration. And then it's, do you have a brake booster or not? If you have a booster, you'll need a little bit bigger bore size. If you don't, if it's manual brakes, then you'll go a little bit smaller. Gives you a little bit more leverage. But honestly, the help, like I'm a big Woolwood fan, so ring the guys at Woolwood. They've got a very helpful help desk as far as helping you work through what bore size you should have. And that's all affected by what how many piston calipers you got on the front, that kind of thing. But give them a call. Again, they're doing it all day, every day. Just like the piston guys, and they're helpful when you ring up. It's not somebody with a really strange accent trying to explain something to you and you can't understand them. They're just not necessarily good old boys because they're California based, but good guys.
Okay, wait, we got two super chats. I think we missed one over here. Oh, okay, there's Nostalgic Northerner. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Uncle Tony, from the guy up north, always asking about his early 80s Delta 88s. I love those cars. Those early 80s Deltas were awesome. Won't ever buy new. Cheaper to keep the old ones going. And fun, man. And those cars are just the epitome. Do you have those pillow seats in that car?
No.
Do you remember those pillow seats?
Yeah.
Oh, those are great. Those are great.
I don't know how many people fell asleep at the wheel in those things.
Me. I fell asleep on the wheel driving those things.
So there's another one behind there. Oh no, that's that one. That's that one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Rodney Clark, manual brakes. The Roadrunner. It came with a spacer to lengthen the rod. Thanks for the feedback. That doesn't make any sense. There is no spacer on the stock 68 Roadrunner.
The Woolwood Master comes with quite a deep pocket in the piston.
Okay.
And they come with a little spacer about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch to an inch long.
Okay.
And you slip that in depending on how long your push rod is, either on the manual brakes or on the
so that's
the
a
booster.
deeper pocket.
Yeah, deeper pocket in the piston. I think that's what he's
I was
referring
not aware
to.
of that.
Yeah.
Fubar put up a link to my merch, which I'm not wearing. Oh, I got the hat on, but
got the hat on.
Yes, this is somebody gave me these shirts. Give me a few of these. They're so comfortable. No, don't feel that shirt. I don't want you to. Wait, no, stop! You freak me out like that. So Fubar put up the link to our merch. So we've got all of our various shirts, which I can't show you any of, and we've got hats and stickers and your merch. Let's talk about your merch.
It's a short conversation.
How short?
Very short.
Where's your
That's
merch?
it. We're done. We don't have any. What I am we're gonna have some beanies. This is my thing. So we're gonna get some Kiwi Classic beanies. And we're gonna get some sweatshirts.
I'll wear that.
And some t-shirts and stuff like that. And it is coming soon.
This week?
To a channel? No.
For the holidays.
For the holidays. Yes.
Nice.
Good Christmas stocking stuffers. And buy some for your wife. We'll have some women's sizes, hopefully. And we'll have some little Kiwi Classics crop tops, maybe. There you go.
There you go.
On Mad Max, James Martin, on Mad Max, do wind blowers have an on-off switch? No, they do not. No, that's just a big
We
Hollywood.
talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that the other week, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's just a big Hollywood BS. No, they do not have an electronic clutch strong enough to hold on to a decent-sized blower that's going to give you any more than 2 pounds boost, you know. So that was strictly Hollywood. Kiwi shoe wax, shoe polished, shoe wax, yes. Kiwi, that's zero. Kiwi merch, like UTG, just not any available yet. Well, yes, we do have that in common.
Barrows
Garage. How you doing, man? I
Oh.
like stock. He's gone too fast. There you go. I like stock disc brake conversion. That way, if the caliper rotor needs replaced, I can get them ASAP. And my parts store. Yep, that's a valid point. That's fair comment. As long as you know, with some of these eBay type conversions, you gotta be sure what you're actually buying. You need to know what, like some of the calipers they use on some of these eBay kits are like metric GM calipers on a Mustang conversion, disc brake conversion kit. So if you go in asking for a Mustang caliper, it's not going to fit. So yeah, that'd be a little tip, is if you're buying some of that stuff, make sure you know or find out what you're buying, like what the caliper's off, what the rotor's off, because they look very similar, but like a Chevy rotor does not typically fit a Mopar, or vice versa. They're just different enough that it'll screw you up. So, but sometimes these places buy 20,000 disc rotors off, brake rotors off of a something, and then they make them fit all their kits.
My rule of thumb for when it's time to move to aftermarket brake stuff as opposed to the stock brake stuff is single-digit quarter mile. So if you're going to run quicker than, let's say, 10.0 and at 135, 140 miles an hour in that range, the stock parts will get you done. They're fine. It's just when you go past that. So the equivalent of that, I don't even know what that would be equivalent of for road speed or road use.
Yeah, it's most road cars, don't need a whole lot of brakes. Often it's bragging rights.
Yeah.
And it's a look, if you're running 20, like this Cougar that I'm working on, that's got 18s and 20-inch wheels on it. So the kit we bought had the 12-inch rotors on it, and suddenly they look a little small. So really, the main reason for going bigger, up to 18s, aesthetics. It's aesthetics. And yeah, that's kind of the level hot rodding has come to now. Like Will would make carbon ceramic rotors. And I was talking to the national sales manager about them, and I said, does anybody ever really use them in a hot rod? Like carbon ceramic, like carbon ceramic brakes don't fade. So like if you're doing laps of Road America, awesome. And his response was, no, nobody with a hot rod actually needs carbon ceramic brakes. It's just a pissing contest. And that was straight from the horse. He not like that I'm repeating that, but
Franco, what's happening, man? I ran early GTOs. The stock brakes sucked. Yeah, they had 9-inch brakes on those cars. Those were 9-inch drums on those early GTOs. That was definitely under braked for sure.
Charlotte Quillen, did you see the rebuild on the shotgun motor from the original Bigfoot? I didn't see that, no. Dickie Farley, Team Kiwi, that's it.
Team Kiwi, what was that?
Dickie Farley said Team Kiwi. But he still hasn't figured out the Kiwi.
Those look like lemons.
They are lemons.
Oh, okay.
But he doesn't have the Kiwi picture. So
is that a big thing
lemons.
you do? Lemons in Kiwi land?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's just a someone who's got the Kiwi emoji needs to let them know where the heck to find it.
Darylyn Hutchins, Tony, are you going to do your propane motor spec correct? Does not seem so. I don't even know what you mean by that, so I guess not. I mean, you may know a lot more about this stuff than I do. I'm doing this so I can learn myself. I'm starting out with that 361 that I built for gasoline, and I'm gonna play with it and see where it goes and what it wants. I don't know. I don't know so much about it that I don't even know what you're talking about.
Tavo. Another bragging rights one is frame connectors on weekend streetcars.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a fair comment. Yeah.
Oh, Scotty, we missed his super chat.
Oh,
Oh, jeez. Okay, how do we find that? Brother, I'm so sorry if I missed your super chat. How far
What?
back do we have to go?
Who
What's
was it?
this? Oh, there it is. Oh, Scotty, I don't know how we missed that, bro. I'm sorry. All right. Just replaced my 96 F-150's timing chain and cover. Now I have an oil leak, but can't tell if it's from the front main seal area or the pan gasket. Any ideas how to figure it out?
Hmm.
All right, let's take this from the top. Just replaced my 96 F-150 timing chain and cover. Now I have an oil leak, but can't tell if it's from the front main seal area or from the oil pan gasket. Oh, so what I would do is drench it down with gas, right? Gasoline, squirt some gasoline down there, or any cleaner that you want. I use gasoline because it's just always available. It's so easy, right? But I mean, brake clean, whatever you want to use, right? But clean that area really, really well, okay? And then very simply, start the truck and let it run and lay down there under the front of it and watch to see where the oil comes from. That's really the only way to tell.
Yeah.
Now, if it only leaks on the road, so if you're not going to see a leak. There's probably a good chance that it's the seal, because that's when there's the most oil being thrown at it. If it's an oil pan leak, so okay, the oil pan is least likely to leak as you're driving, most likely to leak when you're sitting still. When you're driving, the oil's mostly tended to be pushed to the back. And when it's sitting still, it's being flung off the front counterweights of the crankshaft at the corners. So that's most likely to leak when it's sitting still idling. A seal issue is most likely to be seen at higher RPM when that much more volume of oil is being sent through the front bearing and therefore against the front
crankcase
seal.
pressure as well.
Yeah, and crankcase pressure. Well, crankcase pressure would be equal for both of them.
True. Yeah, but it'd be less at idle than it would at
Yes.
higher RPM.
Yes.
That's what I was meaning. 96. So that's going to be a modular motor, won't it? That'll be a 4.6 probably in an F-150.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't kind of like clean it up and then look the next day because the oil will be everywhere. As Tony says, you've got to start watching it as soon as it's coming out. The only other thing I haven't done it myself, but I know a number of people that do, and they put that there's an oil additive you can get, and then you put it like a black light on it, and you can see. But again, you have to start with the engine super clean, and then you put this additive in. You do give it a day, and then you put the black light deal on it, and you can see where the dye's coming out.
Let's do this, because I really want to help him.
Yep.
You keep going with this, and I am going to Google
Tony's Googling
that front timing cover.
Oh, somebody said just noticed the Union Jack. That's my Bollocks shirt. See, Bollocks EVs. That's what I say. Stray bullet. The oil is probably leaking from the crankshaft seal. Barracuda, Kiwi. Do you think converting to a dual master cylinder on an AP6 requires certification? No, it shouldn't. But we're talking about certification in New Zealand here, right? And yeah, they're a bunch of white coat wearing.
All right, so 96 is not a modular motor.
Oh, it's not?
No, 96 is showing a Windsor.
Oh, okay.
That's a Windsor timing cover. Because I was wondering if the modular has other oil passages that might be covered.
So yeah, Barracuda, you'd have to. I don't know. Would you ever get picked up on that? If the car, like when you got to go for a warrant of fitness. When we're talking New Zealand speak here, but warrant of fitness is a 6-monthly inspection you have to go through, safety inspection. But would anyone notice that it had a dual master? Is that something they'd pick up? And I've been out of the, I've been working out of the country for 15 years. I've been over here, so exactly how tough they are these days. I'm not super qualified to answer that because I just haven't spent any time there in the last 15 years.
All right, so back to that timing chain cover, right?
Yep.
Assuming that it is a Windsor motor and it's not a modular motor, assuming this, I'll almost guarantee I know where your leak is coming from. Okay. Okay, picture the front of the timing chain cover. And at the bottom of it, you've got two flat edges that go to the oil pan, and you got the bottom part where the seal is. Okay. I'll almost guarantee when you put it together, you didn't put silicone in the corners. Okay. So picture this now, right? You got bottom of the timing cover, and in the center is the cutout for right for where the oil pan would sit up in there. Well, at either side of those edges, you need to have a dab of silicone biased to the inside because pressure will eventually work its way out. So you take some silicone on your finger and you just blop it right there in the corner, and you make sure that it overhangs to the inside of the engine, not the outside of the engine. But I'll almost totally guarantee that that's where your problem is. Wait,
The other thing I'd add to that is on the Windsor, like, did you drop the pan and actually replace the whole oil pan gasket, or did you just replace? Like, I've seen them come through with the little kits, and there's just the little 90-degree right angle corner. You trim the you leave the oil pan in place, you take the timing cover off, and then trim the gasket and put this new corner on.
okay.
This
is a Chrysler cover, okay, but it's the setup is the same. This right here.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to have, when you put this together, you go to drop this in place, same as a Ford, you have to have a wipe of silicone right here in the corner, and you want to have it biased to the inside. So when that cures, it kind of creates an anchor so it can't get pushed out. But right there is where your leak is.
The other thing I've struck on those Windsors is down the bottom here. Again, it's a little bit different, but similar. That where this kind of half circle seal is that drops into the oil pan. When the oil pan's bolted up tight, when you're trying to wiggle that in, it's easy to push this out of the way.
That's right. I forgot about that.
It's really tricky. Like, not really, but you just got to be careful. It's very easy as you're finagling this into position, because typically that would go on before the oil pan.
Yeah.
You put that on, drop the oil pan on it.
Yep.
There's no risk of losing that seal virtually.
And on that engine, that gasket is that goofy, soft kind of sloppy.
I've fought that myself a few times, more than a few times.
Yeah, there's your problem, brother, man. It's down there.
It could well be that. But yeah, depends. If it's in a Mustang, then you can unbolt that cross member, and it's not that hard to drop the pan and replace the whole gasket, and preferably use a one-piece gasket. It's an F-150 you said, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right, not a Mustang. So I'm not sure how hard it is to drop the whole pan. But that's the way they were meant to. The timing cover was meant to be bolted on the front of the engine, and then the pan dropped on after that. So.
All right. So Jeff Hutchins says we missed another super chat.
Yeah, we're just slacking today. Another super. Do Magnum and Poly throughout end cranks interchange?
Well, they're physically interchanged, but the balance is different. Right? The mean bearing sizes are the same. Everything is the same, except for the balance. Which don't forget about the weight of the pistons. The weight of the pistons is inconsequential. And that's the truth. That's the truth. A few grams on a piston isn't going to make any difference, but the rods do make a difference. So if you're using poly connecting rods or early LA connecting rods and that crankshaft, then go right into a Magnum.
Gerald Hutchins, way to keep me waiting for the explosion on a propane, Joe. Boom.
I'm down with it. Let's blow it up. I've blown up everything else, but a little propane ain't gonna hurt me. Well, maybe it will. I don't know.
It has the potential, yeah. That's not a bad idea. Mopar Man 78 here saying he always sands the gasket surfaces before he installs.
That's a good idea.
Especially on transmission pan, transmission gasket surfaces. Yeah.
Okay.
Gordon Walker, walking out. You're not answering questions from Flint, Michigan.
Dude, I never answer questions from Flint, Michigan, because please, you Flintites is just too much. I killed a man in Flint, Michigan, just to watch him die. Did you know that? Yeah, that's how far back my gripe with Flint, Michigan.
Well,
goes.
hey,
So,
sorry about that, Gordon, but
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
what can I say? I have no control here.
Right. Advice I'm putting.
Oh,
thank you for
and
the super chat.
Yes, Rusty Fuel. A83 overdrive between a 5.2 behind a 5.2 Magnum, building fuel economy car.
Yes, the only thing you're going to have to do, it's a perfectly viable deal. The only thing you're going to have to do is the Magnum uses a different pilot bushing than the LA motor. The Magnum uses a pilot bushing, a bearing, right? It's a roller bearing that fits into the crankshaft hub, where the 833 was all used the older style pilot bushing that goes deep into the crank. So if you want to use a 833 on any cast crank engine that isn't completely drilled like the Magnum, you have to cut off, I'm going to say, let's call it an inch. Okay, you're going to have to trim approximately an inch off of the input shaft of the transmission, and then chamfer it so it goes in nice and smooth in order for that to work. Otherwise, you'll never be able to bolt the transmission directly up to the bell housing. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
I knew that.
You knew that?
Yeah, because
that's why you get the big bucks.
That's why you get the big bucks.
The big bucks. Yeah.
Right.
That A833 it's like a third gear's the overdrive.
Fourth gear is the overdrive. Third gear is high gear.
Yes, yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
What they did was
third's 1-to-1 though, isn't it?
Third's 1-to-1.
Third's 1-to-1. Fourth
Right.
is, yeah.
So what they do is they used the regular 4-speed.
Yeah.
They added the overdrive gear, and so now they flip the lever.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that.
Lever.
It looks odd. Yeah, the little shifted lever on the side. Yeah.
So one lever faces the right way, and the other lever is upside down. It confuses a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
But I've got one of those in my 73 Roadrunner, and I swear by it. It works awesome.
So you're effectively, it turns it back into a 3-speed manual.
Yeah, the 3-speed. You drive it like a 3-speed.
Yeah.
And
then
but you get on a highway, you know what I mean?
Well,
and 75, 80 miles an hour, and you got that 340 is just humming along at like 1,800 RPM. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Jason Towery, what's your thoughts on running diesel oil in a classic car? Yes, that's all I use in my classic cars is this stuff right here, Shell Rotella.
I've lost it now, but somebody was asking if I could, Chris Cadman there, Kiwi, can you explain the difference between a 302/289 Windsor and a 351? Well, presumably you mean a 351 Windsor. The main difference, obviously there's difference in the cylinder heads and difference in camshafts and stuff like that, but that's fairly minor stuff. The biggest difference is the block's taller to get a longer stroking. And if you guys have run into trouble putting them in 351s into Mustangs with like a medium riser intake on it, and suddenly they're hitting the hood because the engine is physically, I think it ends up about, it's either an inch or an inch and a half taller, the 351 from the 302.
It's significant. I mean, you can physically see the difference.
Yeah,
more
it makes
so
it wider because the V, the taller block, the deck height's higher, so you come out in a wider V.
Does it have a larger main bearing?
I don't know.
I think I think the 351 has a larger main than the 302. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, deck height. So the height and the width of the engine is different.
But yeah, get a 351 Windsor and stroke it to 408, and you'll be a happy camper. Those things haul the mail.
Rodney, I went back to the very beginning of time. And your very first couple of videos were not there. What are you trying to hide? Not trying to hide anything.
He's trying. I tell you what. This is like, we have to stop trying to hear. What he's actually trying to do is hide his aging.
Yes.
Like the very
I don't want you to
videos,
see how old I'm getting.
He actually looked like he was under 60. Now.
Well,
Father Time's catching up with him, and he's a little little bit self-conscious about that. So we don't talk about those videos.
And we took down this. I probably took down 100, 150 videos.
Jeez, did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because two reasons. Some of them were really badly done, so I redid them. I didn't redo them exactly. So in other words, like I didn't do a video in its place. But if I did a video on a topic, and then let's say 2 years later, now I'm much more comfortable doing this because I'm still not really comfortable doing it, to be honest with you, right? But as I got used to doing videos and articulating things better on camera, I would go back and look at my older stuff, say, "Ooh, that's cringeworthy at best," and not the complete story. So then we would do a video to take its place. You know what I mean? So I did a video on, let's say, I don't know, indexing pistons. I don't know, right? Early on, I undid that one and did another one in its place. So I'm not trying to hide anything, just cleaning things up as we go along.
And sometimes new information comes to hand, and old information becomes outdated.
Yes.
So you don't want to have a 5-year-old video floating around that's just giving you the wrong story in today's terms.
And also, there were a lot of videos. I took down probably 25 videos that had lamb chop now, because there was a thing, right? There was a thing. So I said, you know what? I just don't want to have this. I don't want to have the ghost of this issue hanging over the channel. So I took down whatever videos he was in. Not hiding anything. I'm telling you straight up. That's what I did.
Rebecca M. Wants us to do a mixed up work project. Find a 70 Corolla. And Tony does the body work and paint, and Kiwi does the mechanical.
That would be a bad car. Very bad car.
Project called Uncle Kiwi Salami.
Oh, no. Only a chick could come up with that, right? Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, the early Bottle Rocket build videos. I took them all down.
Hope your favorite tool video stays up. It's classic. I haven't seen that one. What's that about?
I don't even know. What?
Your favorite tool?
I don't remember.
You
I
don't remember?
honestly don't remember.
Yeah, it's the Alzheimer's kicking in.
Oh, no, it was a scorpion. Yeah, my favorite tool.
Oh, the squid.
I've always got one handy. I've always got one right here. Right?
Yeah.
Yes,
If
my
it
favorite tool.
hasn't got gasoline and it's got vodka or gin or something, right?
I shot that when I had the Rona the first time. I had the Rona 3 times.
Right.
And that was the first time I had the Rona when it first came out. So the day that I shot that video, I had like no voice. I had like 104 fever. It was just like, but I had to get a video out, We hadn't like built the momentum that we have now. Now I could take a week off and it's fine. Like the income comes in because like I'm getting paid for 1,000 videos that we did in the past. But back then I didn't have that kind of income coming in from previous videos. So I had no choice. I had to drag myself out of my deathbed and make a video so we could eat. It was a rough time.
Uncle Tony, South Jersey Jim. Uncle Tony and I are roughly the same age, and women find us irresistible.
Of course.
I think it's something to do with the Italian genes.
Of course.
What, you wear Armani jeans?
Oh, with my work pants.
Oh, I know what he means. Tony, you still going to build the 400 stroker for the Blue Roadrunner?
No, the 400 stroker is going to end up in Slaghammer. I'm going to leave I'm going to leave the 400 that's in the Roadrunner, but the 452 is going to go into Slaghammer. And the only I'm got to get 1 7-second ET out of it. Just got 1 7-second ET. The car's, you can't see it from here, but the car's already on the trailer. Can you see it from here? I don't know if Kiwi moves out of it. Yeah, I don't know. But the Slaghammer is already sitting on the trailer to go out to the track Friday night. So if I get a 79999 out of it, that's it. Okay, mission accomplished. And I pull that motor out and we'll put the good motor in.
Mm-hmm. Andrew Button, here's a challenge for you. Put some wrinkle walls on the Blue Cougar, that Blue Cougar convertible, and see what it does when it gets a bit of good bite. Yeah, that would no, that wouldn't be pretty, I don't think.
Terrible world.
Did you vaccinate? Did you get the clot shot?
No.
Did you get the bang sting pop?
No.
Two Hex Garage. Jeff, how you doing, man?
I never wore a mask either. Not from day one. I never wore a freaking mask.
He's a rebel.
You know, you have to see the looks I was getting from people. I didn't give a shit. I don't care. You're gonna kill my grandmother. She was on her way out anyway.
Danny Boyd, does the 305 have a 4-inch bore? I give up.
The 305, no. 305 is 305 has a 3.4 inch, 3.48, 3.5 inch stroke, and a 3.778. It's almost 3.8 inches on the bore.
There you go. UTG, what's the fastest speed you've driven in a car?
Faster than I ever wanted to really go.
Approximately.
Pretty fast.
Now he's being vague, but hey.
Pretty fast. Fast enough to get my IHRA fuel license.
There you go.
Okay.
Fastest I've been to 157. So, not that anybody asked, but you know, that's all right. Now they know.
Hit the button.
Hit the button. It's 0, 105 to 110 on the daily to feel alive. I kind of make it a bit of a thing when I'm coming here on Wednesday night, Thursday night. Do 100 mile an hour or over 100 mile an hour on the way. It kind of just gets the heart rate up a little bit and gets the blood circulating. It's always a bit of fun.
We got to get you a motorcycle, man. We got to get you a bike. Have you seen my new Harley?
I do. I walked past it before. Yes, that looks quite
like
nice.
That, right?
Yeah, I do like that.
You want to ride it?
No.
You want to take it home you can take it home and ride around tomorrow.
No.
I swear to God.
I'll fall off the damn thing.
All right. Well,
me and motorbikes don't really get along. Main problem being that I'm way more. I've got way more confidence than I have ability, which is never a good thing on a motorbike. It's like, yeah, I can get around this corner. Oh shit, no, I can't. It's a bit late then. 140 in a Lexus SC300. Jacob. Novacell. 45 mile an hour in my Woolies. Well, that was probably just as frightening as doing 150 in my car. So there you go. I have been 213 mile an hour in that train in Europe. That bullet thing. I think it was 230. It was just over 200 mile an hour.
I went 202 in the 8th.
Jeez, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'd go.
Jeez.
All right, but I don't.
Anyway.
Okay. Scroll.
Eric Euban, Z06 Corvette, 163 mile an hour. And then he remembered this thing was built in Kentucky by hillbillies. Well, the Corvette guys are going to love you.
He told me, was there a reason why you put a 400 in your 68 Roadrunner over a 383 or 440? I just had a nice 400 short block sitting around, so I stuck it in there. I have so many at the house. I got so many different big blocks and pieces to build other big blocks. And it was just when I was putting the car together, well, I had a problem with the 383 that was in there. So I just wanted to get it back together again quick, and I had a nice 400 short block. So I stuck that in there with the heads, the good heads and the cam and everything else. And it runs fine. It runs really nice. So I don't know if I want to screw around with it or not. But I do want to get some serious power into Sledgehammer. So I'm going to use those stroker parts that we're going to go, or actually I have the whole assembly. I was going to use that engine in the Roadrunner instead it's going to go in the Sledgehammer. And I'll use the Sledgehammer short block that's in there now. I'll just keep that around as a spare.
Oh, look at that.
What's that?
Mrs. Kiwi's on the old cell.
Oh.
I missed it. What's the time? Oh, she only just sent that. Correct. She does like you, Tony.
There you go.
See.
All right. Start off key with a mini bike.
Start off with a mini bike.
You want a mini bike?
No.
I'll give you one of mine. I got a couple of them. You want that one?
I'll end up trashing my bionic knees on the damn thing. That's not a
Mrs. Kiwi.
mini bike. That's not a mini bike.
No, well, that's not that little Yamaha. That mini bike over there.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well,
If you want it, I'll give it to you. You can have it.
I want it.
All right.
Like
But
a
I mean, if
pit-
you
like
want it,
a-
I would give it to
a
you.
pit bike.
It's a great pit bike.
Yeah, yeah.
You could put on your chaps. Yeah.
My assless chaps.
Oh God, no, 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 no. All right, you see, I went wrong.
Can't talk about them because Mrs. Kiwi doesn't know I have them.
Oh, jeez, I knew you were that way. I knew you were one of them closet LGQPW XYZ people,
WD-40.
WD-40 people. I knew you were one of them.
Dickie Farley, I'm pretty sure Kiwi wants me to have the free mini bike. Kiwi needs a mini bike. Oh, good lord.
104 Speed Shop. Can you make low end torque with a tunnel rim? Curious, the long runners, you would think you would. Yes, well, it depends on the size of the runner. It depends on the size of the runner and the port. So a really big runner and port is in proportion to a shorter overall length. So let's say a sheet metal pro stock style intake manifold. No, you don't make any power until you're over 7,000 RPM. That's the operating. That's the bottom operating range for those engines. For a street style tunnel ram, like a Y end or anything like that, like a cast aluminum tunnel ram, yeah, you make gobs of bottom end power because it's the actual area of the port is small, so you get that sonoramic
Velocity.
ram effect.
Yeah, you get port velocity. Yeah. Zero. So Zero, you were doing co-driver duty in a Volkswagen Jetta? Tell me, what was that about? Was that rallying or what was that? How were you? Why were you a co-driver? Not something you hear a lot of about.
Might be really drunk.
Well,
I
he
mean,
could have been. Yeah. I mean, Zero's a bit like that, isn't he?
He could be. I
Yeah.
mean, no, I think Zero's
I thought
straight
you
edge.
oh, really?
I believe so.
Fred Gomez, how did you guys meet?
He's been stalking me for a long time. Every time I look at my mirror, I'd be driving along and there he is, right? So I was like, eventually I was like, look, what the hell do you want from me? He's like, I just want to be friends. I was like, okay, fine. And so we've been friends ever since.
There you go.
There you go.
WD-40, buddy.
Actually, we met about.
We met through Craigslist.
We actually did meet through Craigslist, right? Yeah, we're Craigslist. We hooked up through Craigslist.
Yes. Yeah, there's a story.
He was building some kind of Mopar and he needed parts. And I had an ad on Craigslist. I was selling Mopar parts. And so he bought some stuff from me. And then not too long after that, you bought that big load of parts.
Yeah.
With the 340 Duster and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I came with you with that.
Yeah, you collected a bit of that stuff as well, yeah. Yep. And the rest was history. So yes. Craigslist, buddy.
Yeah, Craigslist.
Oh, blue button again. Someone said demonetize over assless checks. Zero. Actually running from the cops south 405, leaving the street racing, huh? You need a co-driver's help to stay. Well, yeah, I get that. I get it now. Yeah, the 405. I've driven on the 405 more than once.
Franco, you've run 100 plus mile an hour at Old Tucson Dragway. Stopped with sand blowing across the shutdown was not fun. That's the track that killed Marvin Schwartz. Yeah. Let's see. South Jersey Jim, Kiwi. Do shops such as yours ever allow owners to help to do body work such as blocking and such, or is that too much of a legal and insurance nightmare? Legal and insurance? That's the white man's problem. We don't deal with any of that shit. It's like, go for it.
Technically speaking, it's an insurance issue. The legality of it, I don't think so. But typically, if the guy knows how to, blocking it, to do blocking and such, he's probably going to be doing it himself anyway. Like blocking is, sometimes having owners help takes longer than when they don't help. And there is that old thing, like that poster they used to have, you'd see in some workshops where it was like $65 an hour if you watch, 75 bucks an hour if you talk.
But yeah, yeah.
Or ask questions and stuff like that. And then it was like 85 an hour if you help.
People will always ask. See, it's a double-edged sword because I need help. I need help. I mean, I'm overwhelmed. I have way too much going, which is why I'm clearing the field. I got too many things. I just bought another freaking Harley and I just bought another Jeep like this last week, and I'm trying to get rid of shit at the same time. So I'm overwhelmed.
You give away your mini bike and buy a Jeep.
Dude,
you need to change the sizing around and
I have
give away the
I'm trying to
Jeeps and
give
buy
away.
a mini bike.
I got a 318 over here trying to give away.
I gave you a 318.
I know you gave me a
It's
318. And I have
probably that
another one. No, you don't understand. I got them all over the friggin' place.
Yeah.
I got that slant over there. I'm trying to give away. I got all kinds of blocks and cranks over at my house. I will give you this stuff. Just come and take it, okay? But I keep adding more stuff to it. But no, we're getting off the point here. I need help, but the problem is when you get somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, you spend more time helping them help you than you actually spend getting things done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really bad. It's bad.
Blue button.
Blue button. Wow, Kiwi, look at this. We only got 25 minutes left.
Jeez.
Today flew.
Time flies when you're having fun.
You guys have, is this a good one? I don't know. I can never know if we're having a good show or not.
No, well, I've got a lot more likes than you do, so it must be a fairly good show.
Likes. Wow, there's 316 people watching, but only 195. That reflects you. That reflects on you. Because I know that, people are like, oh, I want to like Uncle Tony. I'm going to hit the like. Oh, wait, Kiwi. And you see, I know that happens. I know that's what happens.
Rodney, my 2008 Nissan Altima has a 3.5. I'm not sure you're at the right place asking about 2008 Nissan Altima.
Why?
A V6 manual. Got a 3.5 litre V6 6-speed manual. Starts shaking real bad around 60, which is as far as the speedometer.
Oh, 160.
160.
Tire balance, bro. Tire balance. And slow down. Come on.
Yeah.
Really? Why you got to go that fast?
A 2008 Altima. Yeah, that. Fish sticks. Got any Pontiac stuff you giving away?
No.
Here's a good tech question. What causes rapidly fluctuating fuel pressure? Replace the gauge with a better one. Same results. Delco pump with return line and Holly double pumper. Motor runs fine though.
You got a return line on there. But okay, so you're regulating through the return line. So I assume you're not using an adjustable regulator and you're using like a poppet that you're shimming to achieve your pressure. Because if it's a shimmed poppet, that's normal, right? It will fluctuate. Like it'll fluctuate like a pound and a half. You'll get this because if you're using I guess it's a poppet style return or restrictor for the return, that spring is always being seated and unseated. So you'll get variations like that, which is kind of normal. Nothing to worry about. If you're using an adjustable regulator, like a typical like a big type you use with a Holly pump, that sort of thing, then the regulator itself is bad.
The other thing, if it is that high, I had this issue, the similar issue on that black fastback I've got in the shop that we're putting the big block in, and that someone had plumbed in a Holly fuel pressure regulator with a return line. But what they've done is there's two different types of Holly fuel pressure regulator. One is just a regular conventional regulator that doesn't have a return line. It has one in and two outs to go to each end of the carburetor. What they did was use one of the outs, use the other out to go to the return.
Without a restriction.
Without any restriction.
Okay. Yeah. Just like, no.
So it's like, no, that's not how it works.
Right.
That's not how that fuel pressure regulator works. Now you get the one that is meant to have a return line, and it looks identical. The Holly one it's identical to look at, except instead of one in and two outs, there's an in, an out, and a return. And other than that, it looks identical. So I mean, it's an easy mistake to make. But that, I don't know, something like that, like make sure that your regulator you're using is designed to have a return line.
Okay. Okay. Oh, he's saying it's not adjustable. It's stock. Goes from approximately 2 to 6 psi rapidly. Then it's the bypass inside the pump. So the pressure from that pump is regulated internally. So if you were to take that pump apart, it's exactly like an oil pump, where you've got a spring-loaded valve, and if that spring is weak or the valve isn't seating completely, then you'll get that. It's the bypass in the pump giving you that problem.
Joe K, do kiwis belong with strawberries?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Let's see. James Wesley Bell. I need a ballast resistor for my 1962 GMC 305 V6 big block is why I ask. I don't, oh geez, I think we missed something. Geez, okay, James, on that vehicle, you have a resistor wire. There's the one of the wires that goes, so you're gonna have two wires that come off the ignition switch, and one of them is marked ignition, and the other one is marked resistor, or start and run. One of them is 12 volts out, and the other one is the resistor wire that goes to the coil. So you should not need, if you go into the factory wiring, you should not need a resistor in that circuit. Now the difference would be if, let's say, you're using a coil that requires an external resistor, like one of big yellow Holly axle coils. So you would use a resistor on top of the resistor wire. But if you're using just if you're using basically stock parts, no, there's no external ballast resistor in that.
Charlotte Collin, the Kiwi is blocking out your own car ethically correct. I like anybody that blocks their own car because they typically means there's less sanding I've got to do.
Unless they block like me, in which case you have to start from scratch.
There's definitely do's and don'ts on blocking, and maybe that's a subject for a video, like how to block, because there is a way to do it. And I've seen some people who kind of should know better doing it wrong. No, more, no offense, but more skilled at bodywork than you, than most, and still blocking the wrong way.
I was going to say everyone, but no, I'm going to rephrase that. Everything is more skilled at bodywork than I am. I mean, it's that simple. I'll own it. You know what I mean? I'll own it.
But blocking is it's a skill set. You got to have a certain feel for it, and practice makes perfect.
Listen, here's the thing, right? Doing body work, it is no different than being an artist, right, or a sculptor, or whatever. The people of arts. Okay, I can't draw. Somebody could do the Mona Lisa. You know what I'm saying? They could take a couple of pencils and do the Mona Lisa, right? And I would end up drawing a stick figure. As hard as I tried, I would end up drawing a stick figure because I don't have the eye for it, right? And it's the same exact thing when you're doing body work. You have to have the eye, and you have to have the feel and the patience to do proper blocking. I have tried 1,000 times, and for me to do proper body work, I would have to have my brain rewired because I'm not wired for it. Not everybody is. So do the thing that you do the best, and try your hardest with the other stuff, and just be happy with what try hard.
Yeah, there you go. Juice box. My manual transmission in my '97 Civic makes grinding noises. I'm pretty sure it's going bad. Should I rebuild or replace the whole trans? That's a hard question without looking inside it. Yeah. Is it grinding as you're changing gears, or is it like synchromesh cones worn out, perhaps, or is it you select a gear and you accelerate and then it grinds? Because that's a very different problem than grinding as you're trying to push the shifter forward or back and get into a gear. Parts, I would think 97 Civic. I'm not sure how the parts would be available for that.
I bet you that's a pretty available thing. I would tend to just replace that rather than rebuild it. If it's just a driver, you know what I mean? It's not your pride and joy, your hot rod. If it's just your driver and a tranny shot, and you can get a good deal on a known good transmission, I would just swap them.
Yeah, that would be the quickest way to do it. Because once you dive into a manual transmission, especially a front wheel drive one, they're a little complicated. I'll do a regular rear wheel drive manual transmission. That doesn't faze me. But the front drives,
it gets involved.
Different kettle of fish, really is.
Those Hondas aren't bad though.
No, I haven't had a Honda one apart.
80s and 90s Hondas aren't bad to do like a clutch job on.
Yeah, clutch. I mean, clutch is easy enough, but it's diving and pulling the gears out and.
Well, you have to take the whole gearbox down to get the clutch.
But I'm talking about blowing the gearbox apart.
No, that's involved.
Blowing the gearbox apart on the front drive is a little more complicated because you got a differential.
You got the differential built into
in
it.
There.
Right.
So there's other clearances and backlashes and things like that to take into account. So, yeah. There we go. Blue button again. What do we got?
Michael Gold, UTG and Kiwi, do you have problems with fans, YouTubers showing up at the shop and slowing down your workday? Yes. And they invariably show up just as I'm trying to do something important. You know what I mean? They never just come by when I'm like sitting back like, I'm just going to have a cup of coffee and relax for a few minutes before. That's not when they come by. They come by just as I'm in the middle of shooting a video or trying to get something
or
done.
Doing a live stream and coming
or doing a live stream and they pop in. Yeah, it's a nightmare. It really is. It's bad. One of the reasons. Okay, so I'm moving from this shop to another shop. So I have several reasons for that. One of the big ones is I have unused space. I don't use 3/4 of what we have here. You don't see the whole thing, right? So I'm moving to another spot.
Palatial, really, when you actually walk around.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I need this.
He has
what we have right here.
An east wing and a west wing.
Yeah, and a whole complex next door that you guys never see. So I'm moving into a more realistic size shop for what I do. But one of the big reasons is that I'm right off the road here. So literally, if I have the doors open once or twice a day, somebody pops in. And I'll get people leave. I had somebody recently leave a note on the door, right? I came down from Ohio to meet you. Why? Why did you come from Ohio to meet me? I don't know you. Why did you do that, right? So, you know what I mean? It happens all the time. And the place that I'm moving to now is inaccessible. You can't get it. You can't get to it. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing that.
How are we going to do live streams if I can't get to it?
Oh, you can get to it. You'll know where it is.
The secret code.
You'll know where it is.
Okay, then. So just call me if you want to know.
Yeah. So.
Hey Tony, can I use LA small block heads like an X or J on a 360 Magnum motor? He doesn't like the look of the valve covers on the Magnum.
Well, you can use You can use LA valve covers. That's the reason you want to do this. You can put LA covers on a Magnum. They fit just fine. All of the bolt holes line up, and you won't have any issues at all. I've done it many times. But to put the LA heads on a Magnum block, you need to drill the oil passage that feeds the top end of the engine that's in the valley. So if you have the intake manifold off and you look down into the valley, you know where the lifters are, you'll see that there are two passages cast into the valley of the block that go up, and those are what oils the top end on an LA motor. So on a Magnum motor, the castings are there, but they're not drilled through. So if to use LA heads on a Magnum block, you're going to have to drill through that passage and through the top of the cam bearing into that area so that it will oil. And also you need a camshaft that's intended to oil it, because if you use a Magnum camshaft, the Magnum cam isn't oiled or isn't drilled to oil those two tops. So it's a can of worms. Just put the LA valve covers on the Magnum heads and call it a day.
On juice box, grinds while it's accelerating. Yeah, I'd say that's terminal on that 97 Civic. If it's grinding while it's in gear. Yeah,
that's not good.
You've got a bearing out or going out, gone, and the gears are basically pulling apart and coming out of mesh under load. They're just pushing and overriding each other.
Yeah.
So you're going to have quite a bit of damage in there to try and fix.
It could be in the differential too. The differential section of it.
Well, yeah, it's true. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Because that's tight. I don't know. Have you ever done one of those transaxles?
No, not personally. I've watched one being done, but no, not.
It's really tight. If one of the carrier bearings, if one of those carrier bearings is out, even by like just the slightest bit, like with a regular diff, you'd say it'll be fine. it'll tear shit up. It'll make all kinds of racket. That's I'll bet you he's hearing issues from the diff section of that transaction.
Could be. Could be.
Um,
Delta Tech 440 board 30,000 10 to 1 compression. 2 hollies, tunnel ring, cam. His brother says 550 horse. He says 500. What do you guys?
what is it now? Let me read that. Delta Tech 440 board 30 over. Okay, 10 to 1 compression, 510 lift, 246. Tom 2 Holly 450s. Okay, so that's it. 246 is 50.
440 source stealth heads.
Yeah. You definitely undercarbureted by a lot. Aluminum forwards are ported by me. Well, this is 550. I say 500. What do you guys think? Ballpark. I tell you what. That's one of those things where flip a coin, because the basic combination is there to give you between 500 and 550 horsepower. You can do it, but it's going to be in the fine tuning of that setup that's going to get it for you. So like you have all of the basic parts. It's like any other. It's like any engine. You can bolt it all together and have the on paper, it's going to make 10,000 horsepower. But it actually makes 245 horsepower because it's not tuned and proportionate correctly, and that takes time. So that either takes, you put it on a dyno, you take it to the drag strip, and you work through it, and you find that, well, the engine wants this much timing, it wants that plug, it wants this jet, it wants this, and so that's where you get the power from. So you can't just say, oh, I magically have these parts and this is the power that it's going to make. You can have an educated guess, and yeah, 500 to 550 is about right, but you could bolt all of that together, take it, put it on a dyno just the way you bolted it together, and it makes 195 horsepower. And don't laugh, I've seen that happen. You just need to tweak it, you know what I mean, and work with it to bring that power up. That's what tuning is all about. Did I answer that question good?
You did.
Like a pro, right?
Like a pro.
Yes.
Like a pro.
Okay.
Uncle Tony could be Elvis, same age as he was.
About.
Would be.
Yeah.
Well, he still is if you actually believe the sighting.
So I tend to believe he may have faked his own death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I tend to believe he may have faked his own death.
I heard you'd done that a couple of times.
I did, actually. Yeah. I'm trying to quit magazines. And people really did think I was dead.
No, really?
But I could see that. I could see a lot of people, who they claim, died, committed suicide or whatever. I could see them faking their death. Like if you're let's just say you're Jim Morrison or you're Jimi Hendrix or you think of any of those people, right? Janis Joplin or Elvis. I could see where, you climb the ladder, you become famous, you become intensely famous, and then all of a sudden you don't have a life anymore. Like you can't do anything. You can't pick your nose. You know what I mean? Like you can't do jack without the world staring at every freaking thing you do. I could see where you reach a point where it's like, I did it, I had the fame, I made the money, and now I can't take this anymore, and you fake your death. If you have the resources, you fake your death. I could easily see that happening.
Now, Mike N is just asking about John Wilburn. Was John Wilburn a mod here at one point?
Yes, John Wilburn was a mod for a few years, and then John went his own way, and he does his thing with the No Name Nationals, and he does a few different things. But yeah, John was a mod here for the first few years that we did this channel. Barry Kuhn, I'm standing outside the building. Let me in, please. No. I threatened to shoot a guy one night that was out there. It was crazy. You know what I mean? It was like,
really?
Yeah. Like 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, right? Guy comes in, you know what I mean? I pull up, right? Because I'm going to start my night shift here, okay? And guy pulls up, and I was being polite to him, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I wanted to meet you. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, great, yeah, come on in. Shook his hand, and we talked. And I walked him around for about 5 minutes or so. He said, listen, I really got to work. Nice meeting you. I really got to get to work. And he was like, well, I don't really have any place to go. I'm like, well, listen, that's great, but you can't stay here. You know what I mean? And he's like, okay, fine. So I shut the door. I worked. Now it's like 11 o'clock. I'm finished. I want to go home. Okay. I walk outside, and he's still standing there.
Good Lord.
Right? So I said,
spooky, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I don't even want to get into the rest of it. But the point is, yeah, this happens.
Mm.
This happens.
Mm. Scrolling fast, yeah. Closing time. It is getting around closing time.
Oh, geez, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a few more and we'll get out of here.
Question for you, Kiwi. Do you specialize in Mustangs, or is it just coincidence lately that so many end up at your shop? I don't specialize in Mustangs. I do get a lot of Mustangs through the shop, and I do know them pretty well. But I will work on whatever you've got, really. But yeah, I mean, the main reason, as far as I know, that I've got a lot of Mustangs in there is that when I first opened the shop, like I had 0 customers. I just moved up from Austin, Texas, and so got a shop, opened the doors, absolutely nothing to do. So I went looking for a project car, and I found a Mustang. And yeah, long story short, that's really why I have so many Mustangs now. People started seeing what I was doing on my Mustang.
Now, that's the car that you have at your house.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not just saying this because he's here, he's my friend or anything like that. But one of the most enjoyable videos I ever saw was one that he did on this Mustang that he built that he keeps at his house.
Yeah.
And it was just nice. It was just like he just gave this walk around of the car and pointed out all of the little details that you wouldn't see, right? Because like you look at the car and you're like, well, something's different. I can't put my finger on what's different. But he goes through the car and he shows I widened it this much and I did this much and I left, and it's a great video. What's the name of that video?
What's that?
What's the name of the video?
It was, yeah, that's a good question. I can't remember. I have to have a look. It was about a sneak peek into Kiwi's garage or something like that. It was.
Yeah,
because it's at home, not at my workshop. So yeah, we just shot the video at home one Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Mrs. Kiwi, did the filming, so she was like, she did a pretty good job actually.
Everything. I thought that was a fantastic video. I enjoyed. I remember sitting there watching the whole thing, like, wow, that's.
Yeah, and it was quite a smooth video because I know every single detail about that car.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes when you're walking around a car and you're trying to create a video, I am an hour a little bit because I'm trying to think of the next thing to say.
Right.
Because we don't, like me and Tony, we don't script the videos. We just turn the camera on and start talking. Just let our mouths run, right? Pretty much. But that car, because I know every inch of it, it just flowed.
Find the name of that video so that anybody who wants to see it can.
Okay.
Let's see. I'll send you to right. Mitten Made Muscle wants to know, Kiwi, does the tail panel of a first-gen Camaro have to come off to replace the trunk pan with a one-piece? Yes.
Yes.
Even I know that.
Yeah.
Even I know that. Yes.
Yep. Right. So
the tail panel is a flange that runs across the whole deal. You'd have to take the whole thing apart.
Yeah, I'm looking for this video. Yeah, it was a while ago. It's probably a year ago.
Yeah, I'd say at least a year ago.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it was 1 year ago. It's meet the KSV 9000.
No, that's the thumbnail. The title.
That's the thumbnail. The thumbnail says meet the KSV 9000, and the title is Kiwi's Garage Sneak Peek.
Yeah, Kiwi's Garage Sneak Peek. Watch that video. It's a cool video.
Yeah. And then just close to that one is the Black Beauty video, which that car's about finished. That black fastback is. Oh, shut up. It's about. I think it's going out on Saturday, so I've got to make a video in the next couple of days of that Black Beauty with the 427 moved back 5 inches and all.
Have you done one?
So that's coming.
Have you done one on that guy that works for his car yet?
Steve?
Yes.
His Oldsmobile?
Yeah.
No.
You need to do that. You need to do that.
Yeah. You wanted to come along and he might guest star in that video.
Yeah, I'll come. Let me know.
Well, I see. I've guest starred in a bunch of his videos.
You have.
But you haven't guest starred in any of mine.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, you do have.
I did. I made a cameo appearance in that one you did.
Oh.
I made a cameo appearance in that one you did.
Doing the
car
bunny
show
behind me, and I'm freaking oblivious like a moron. Never mind. What are you gonna do? So it'll be starring and we're going to go for a cruise in it downtown Nashville, right?
Yeah, I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I think the visuals
go
of
up by
that car rolling
By
through
the
Broadway.
Parthenon and all that, like where was that? Was that your Charger you took down there?
Took my 67 Charger.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. I shot that picture, that thumbnail. It was like an afterthought. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Beer Rose, thank you.
Very cool. Kiwi, body on frame or unibody? What do you prefer? I'd have to say the unibody. But unless it's a truck or something like that, then you need a full frame. But unibody, yeah, it's stronger if it's in good shape and not rusty. And it's better for the passenger, like safer. They have crumple zones built into them, which you can't really build into a full frame car. I mean, we all hope as hot rodders we never have to use the crumple zones in your 69
I
Charger.
am the crumple zone.
But
I've been the crumple zone many times.
Unibodies are super strong. They really are. They did some crash testing on video somewhere where they like crashed an old Impala into a late model Impala Chevrolet.
Yeah.
And the old one fared, with the big full chassis.
But wait a second now, because that was a scam. That was a fucking scam, right? Because two things. That Chevy that they use is an X frame.
Yeah.
Okay, and where they hit it with the new car is exactly on the angle that would be alongside the frame where there is no frame. Right? And the second thing is, if you watch that crash happen, they show it once in regular motion, and then they show it again in slow motion. You can see the puff of rust come down from the old car when it hits.
Yeah.
So that was a scam. That was a setup. That was a setup.
All right. So that apparently wasn't a very good example. But hey, I'll give you an example of like hands-on experience. I had a Nissan four-wheel drive with a full frame. This is going back, 20 years. And a guy in a Corolla, a little Toyota Corolla unibody, came sailing up the back of me and just wham. I was completely stationary. He didn't see me until he'd actually hit me. Like it was a boom. Now the full frame car was in much better shape. The little Corolla was just steaming and boiling over and oil on the road, and it was just like forget about it. I just went, oh, that's a bit of a little dent in the back of mine, and I just drove home. Thing was, I was hurting, like it whiplashed me something savage, and I was really hurting. This guy, it looked like he could have died in that wreck. But he was fine, and I'm like, oh my God, my back, I can't move.
That exact thing happened to Kathy.
Oh, really?
She was driving a Ford Ranger, okay, and somebody hit her in the back, and it was like one of them direct bumper hits. So there was like no damage to the tore up the front of the car that hit her, but there was no damage on the Ranger. But it was such a direct hit that it screwed up her back. Like she was crippled for like a month.
Yeah, no, I was hurting, and this guy was fine. But that's the crumple zone. So, yeah, to answer your question, Beer Rose, unibody. I think they have some good advantages.
Yeah, I'm unibody all the way.
Why most cars built today, most, not all, but most, are unibody.
Yeah. I'm unibody all the way. I love unibody cars.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's 9:08.
It is time. Wow.
We're out of time.
We've been going for over 2 hours and 3 minutes, man. Something
fell off. Somebody snuck in
there. Yeah. All right. Well, Kiwi, it's the end of another Wednesday Night Tech Extravaganza. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel good. I think we did a good job.
Do you want to sing a song for the people?
No, I do not want to sing a song. They don't want me to sing a song. I want to give you the option.
I want to give you the option. All right. So, guys, this was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Fubar. Thank you, Zero. Who else? What are the mods? Ari.
Our fantastic mods. It's always the same three. They're always here.
Always here.
And the ghost of John Wilburn, wherever he is. Kiwi's channel.
Kiwi Classics and Customs.
Right. Go subscribe to him. You had your first big video.
I did, yeah.
You had your first big video.
It was, yeah, it really was.
I'm so proud of you. It's like you're taking the YouTube baby steps. Yeah. You're so good.
No, I'm pretty good.
You're a good boy. All right. Yeah, so
Uncle Tony's kennel, go to his channel, Uncle Tony's Kennel House.
Yes.
Puppies extravaganza.
Yes.
Um,
So yeah, Armad's Ari Fubar Zero. Thank you guys always. Everybody contributes super chat. Thank you so much. It
You
pays
win.
for this shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did good on. Well, I can say
yes,
but you did good on
you-
the super chat.
You want some? I'll give you some.
No.
You want some money? I'll
No,
give you some
no,
money.
no. That's not what.
All right.
That's not what I mean.
I got plenty of it.
They pay you because you ate the big butt. You know,
Yeah, I
like
do
you
make
have
it,
you
yes.
have the answers. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just the comic relief.
Exactly.
They're either
Exactly.
laughing with me or at me. I'm not sure why.
I'm the straight man. I'm like Dean Martin. He's like Jerry Lewis.
Oh, good lord.
That's the cancer.
He's dying.
I'm
Good
over.
job we're off the air.
All right. So
Uncle-
that's it, guys. Sub to Kiwi. And don't get killed out there.
That would be good. Yeah,
Yes.
we need your views to pay the bills.
I think that's what I'm going to say at the end of all my videos from now on.
Don't get killed.
Don't get killed out there.
It's a little grim.
No, it's optimistic. I don't want any of you guys to get killed out there. I cherish your existence. Thank you. All right.
Chris Cadman, Dean was drunk. What makes you think we're not?
All right. Let's make this stop now.
Okay.
You ready?
I don't know how to stop it, but
Thank
see you guys.
all.
Thanks for watching. Hope you had a
You
good
stop,
time.
you hit that. See, end stream. You hit that.
End
boom.
stream.
And then
And we-
they
and then-
just to make sure, they say
End.
your stream will stop immediately, and you will no longer be live. And this is not yet. No, now. End.
Now. Goodbye.